Sorry if I'm sounding sentimental and whatnot. There's another case that we talked about here with the young brother Elijah McClain. You remember that story, Kim?
Out of Aurora, Colorado, Elijah McClain was the young man who had the police called on him because he was wearing a mask. Elijah was, I believe, anemic. It was not uncommon for him to wear additional layers of clothing because in Colorado he got cold. But because he was black and wearing a mask, white folks, I'm assuming, called the police on him, and then he was engaged by the white police, who jumped on Elijah to the point where he told them he could not breathe. And they ended up killing him. And I actually think that Elijah this is the case, or one of the cases, where the Colorado police injected him with ketamine, and he
Yes.
had a dangerous reaction and died, but died as the result of police conduct, not as a result. He had the fucking police not engaged him and stuck him with a narcotic, basically, Elijah would still be here.
Right.
But you said
So
there's an update.
yeah, and that's basically what this story is about. Of course, they're talking about the autopsy report has been amended, and they're saying that the injection from the ketamine caused the overdose, which we already knew. But like you said, had they not been looking to hunt him and harass him and these other white folks who call the police on him, if they weren't looking to criminalize and dehumanize um, this young man, then perhaps he would be alive today. But that didn't happen. So I guess now it's like, let's all shift the blame on the paramedic. It's a concerted effort. It's not just the paramedic. They're saying, okay, well, he OD'd because of this situation. No, let's get to the full of it. What is the root cause? Let's go to the root of it and deal with the whole thing. And that being, white supremacy. That being imperialism, and this young man who, for those of us who have children, and even if you don't, you look at him, you see him as, for lack of better words, harmless. He was trying to apologize, as we can recall, for being. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what I did wrong, but I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? He didn't want to die. He didn't want to be hurt. He didn't want to be arrested. But still, to no avail, they didn't care about that. They
And
wasn't concerned.
this was something that I won't say is unique to Colorado, but there were certainly a number of cases in which people who had been engaged by the police ended up being injected with ketamine, some with some tragic consequences. I encourage y'all to check out Police Accountability Report. My colleagues, Taya Graham and Stephen Janis, whose work is really, really good. They did a really good episode about specifically people being injected with ketamine when the police were called for people having mental health crisis or whatever. I mean, I it just sort of boggles my mind that state authorities could feel that they are entitled to literally inject people with drugs, random drugs, that they don't know what the effects of these drugs will be on folks. They don't know if people have allergies. They don't know what other medications people might be on in addition to, right? So just for the state to just remove all bodily autonomy, and not to say it ever existed in the first place, but specifically in this way, to inject people's bodies with an unknown substance or unknown how it will react to that person, is unconscionable. And I can't remember, I'm sure his people did sue the police there, Kalanji. Is there anything in this update? I can't recall
No, I
whether they
haven't.
received a settlement or how much their settlement was for.
Yeah, I haven't gotten that information yet. I'm not sure if they did just yet. But to your point about the whole injection situation, they always they use certain drugs for control. You know what I'm saying? That's part of the whole thing. They use the ketamine for control out here in the streets. They use Ritalin for control inside of the school system. They use Thorazine when you get to prison. I saw grown men who were quote unquote wild and
Mm,
moving around, walking around like zombies in prison because
mm.
of the fact that these drugs are designed strictly for their control. You know what I'm saying? So this is another reason why Another reason to stay away from, you know, some of these pharmaceutical drugs and some of the shit that you buying in the street, because it's about domination and control. And to see that, you know, they injected so much, to your point, Kim, into this young man, you don't know what kind of, I mean, it's so many different allergic reactions you can have. And there's so many different you know, folks have so many different situations, and they're just like, hey, slow him down. They slowed him down so much that he killed him.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Murder, murder.
Straight up, yes. Pardon me for not getting that proper, but yeah, it's call it what it is. It's murder. You know, and you know, so this is what we deal with, and you know, there's never a true response from the community. And I'm not talking about going around just injecting people. No, but there should be an uproar. Black folks, white folks, whoever, because this is someone's child. So you can't just use the same old, you know, he looked aggressive and he was making aggressive postures. You can see in a video, you can hear this boy's voice, you know, pleading, like, look, I apologize. Oh, man, shit, I ain't. If I knew this was gonna happen with me being black, maybe I would have been asked to not been born. Ultimately, that's what it sounds like, you know, because you don't expect justice or peace or any of that type of stuff in a colony. But anyway, you know, we pray that that Elijah, you know, that his spirit lives on and that his family gets some type of uh, justice, right?